Hey everybody, I'm Christy Wilhelmi from Gardenerd, and I am sitting underneath my abundant and I would say overgrown cover crop. This cover crop is a combination of peas, fava beans, hairy vetch, oats, and a couple of other things. And for those of you who aren't familiar with cover crops, I did another video that tells you what they are and why to grow them. This video is going to be all about how to turn it under. And hint, we're not actually turning anything, but there's a process that I want to share with you for cutting down your cover crops and then using it as bed prep for your soil before spring planting. So let's get started. The first step, the first step for me is that I should remove this cage, but everything is so attached to it, I'm just going to leave it for now. But the first step in turning under a cover crop is to cut the biomass down. I prefer to cut the biomass just below soil surface so that it doesn't start to regrow, which it does here in Southern California because we have no frost. And I don't want it to regrow. I want the roots to decompose and disappear, and so I'm going to cut them down, leaving the roots intact in the soil for them to break down over time. But basically you're going to just take clumps of this and cut it right under the soil surface. And watch out for any drip irrigation lines that you may have. Now you can set this kind of aside or just leave it where it is. It's all going to end up in the same place eventually, like this. And go through. And for a small bed like this, it doesn't take long to do this process. You're just snipping. You could use loppers or shears or something bigger. If you're working in a bigger area, you could use a scythe. But basically, you're just, for a small bed like this, I'm just using hand shears and cutting as I go. I want to show you what I'm actually cutting off and leaving in the soil. These little nodules right here, there's kind of pinkish nodules right here. Those are full of nitrogen. And when we cut those off, they're going to stay in the soil and disintegrate, releasing that nitrogen into the soil. Yay! So I'm just going to keep cutting. I have some green onions sharing this bed, so I'm carefully taking the drip irrigation out temporarily so that I can work in the rest of the bed, and then I will put this back. But for now, it's time to take this all away. And then we're going to put all this biomass back in the bed and chop it up. Now the goal is to get this into like 2-inch pieces, but you know, it's okay if it's not. You take a shovel and just start, you want your shovel to be sharp, of course, and you're chopping. You'll get your exercise for today, for sure. Eventually, this gets smaller and smaller as you chop it up, and once it gets to the point where pieces are about, well, I'm not quite there yet, pieces are about 2 inches or so. Yeah, none of this isn't quite ready, but when we get it to that point, it will be time to cover it with compost and water it in. Now, I've been saving this compost to put on top of here. This came from our compost bins over yonder. And basically, you're just going to put, an 1-inch layer on top. 1/2 inch is fine. I'm just going to dump this on and spread it out. You just want to make sure all of the green is covered. And eventually, this will level off with the soil, with the bed. So it kind of looks like a lot at first. Try and hide it all in there. Cover all of it. tucky, like you're tucking kids into bed. Doot, inside, inside, inside. There you go. Nighty night, cover crop. Okay, and it truly is a thing of beauty when it's all covered up, and this will settle over the next week-ish. Now I'm going to return the irrigation so that the green onions keep getting watered and this gets watered. So this is a process, but it is a really beneficial one. And if you do this to your cover crops, yeah, whatever grows in it next is gonna go gangbusters. I always do this in the bed where I'm going to plant my tomatoes in spring. And I've been testing this for a few years now, and they just do so much better than they did when I didn't grow a cover crop in there before. The nitrogen, the biomass, everything about it makes it a terrific growing environment for your really heavy feeder crops in the coming season. So yeah, it's hard work, but it's totally worth it for what's gonna happen this spring. Oh, one more quick thing. I've got 2 online courses, one that's coming out new this spring. It is all about planning your garden ahead of time on paper or, you know, digitally, however you want. Go to gardenerd.com to find out more information about that. It's gonna be great. Also, check out my books because you'll find out how to do this and so much more in Gardening for Geeks. You can learn about growing fruit trees and grow your own mini fruit garden, and check out my novel, Garden Variety. If you like this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to find out when our next video comes online. I am really happy to share with you this process that I do every year. I hope you'll join me for more videos. Happy gardening.